Hey, friends, welcome to the show. I'm Joe, and today we are talking to a superintendent who took a lateral. We're talking a lateral move when everybody really expected him to climb a little bit higher. He became an award winning children's book author while running a 5,400 student district. And his teachers actually are saying, hey, I think this is the kind of leader that we need right now. Dr. Brad Mason, superintendent of Whittier City School District. Thanks for joining us, friend.
My pleasure. Hi, everybody.
So, most superintendents, and myself included, just you learn to climb up and up and up and up. You went sideways from
Sure.
K-12 to a K-8,
Yeah.
an Ella middle. What in
Yeah.
the world? Give us the thought process there, boss.
Yeah. Just, we're always evaluating in our careers kind of where are we at and are we kind of maybe exactly where we need to be. And after 6 years in Brea, Olinda Unified School District, I just thought, I'm at a place where I want to, I want to start over. I want to be fresh somewhere. I want to be somewhere where my skill set really meets their moment of need, and Whittier City School District has absolutely been that place, and so
Yeah.
it's been a gift.
Yeah, well, you definitely had a lot of momentum. You had a ton of
Sure.
success, and the K-12 system is probably a little more traditional than
Sure.
the K-8. All of that stuff on your resume, and then when Whittier came calling, same size,
Mhm.
basically, different configuration. Every career consultant would probably say, "Hold on, buddy boy, you
Yeah.
know, you got to wait. You got to hold out for bigger, hold out for more." But you still said yes. You kind of ran countercultural.
Sure.
What was the heartbeat behind that?
Yeah. Achieving kind of the 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan. If I've got to get to here and I'm validated if I do this, that, or the other, I mean, just look for a place where your skill set fits. Drop a taproot and make a difference. And Whittier's been that place. And so I've never been about accolades and chasing kind of the norm. As we'll talk, you know, I'm a group of one, and it's been
Mm,
great for me.
mm. Yeah, I read some things about your board president at the time. They were looking for somebody with experience. They didn't want to hire a newbie coming in. You've got a very robust school system there that just needed to have some continuance and stability. And your teacher association as well had just really good things to say about what they saw in your character. Obviously, your competence got you into the door, but
Sure.
it's that character thing that probably was the greatest differentiator. How important is character in the world of the superintendency today, boss?
Everything. I mean, there needs to be a competence component, but I mean, you wouldn't. I think you just said, you wouldn't get in the door if you didn't have the competence. Character, the kind of the who you are when no one's looking. There's just so much that you're being relied on to do the altruistic, the caring, the right thing when push comes to shove. And if you can just look at yourself square in the mirror, just like and know the reasons that you're doing things, and you can point to there for the right reasons and right motivations, things that you're gonna have a high batting average, and you're going to be successful to play it again and again and again. And so just stick with what you know and apply it. And your job isn't to please people, it is to serve well. And
Yeah,
so
I can't agree more.
do that.
I've often said we don't need any more leaders in education. We need more of the right kind of leaders. There's a plethora of smart
Sure.
and competent, incredible leaders out there. But as an old, middle school teacher and a middle school principal myself and a high school principal, we always dealt with combination locks on lockers, and my locker stuck. I always say the first tumbler on the locker has to be character
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
anything else in terms of your influence and your ability to move
Sure.
systems forward. If you don't have it, you're not moving. You're not moving.
Correct.
So
I would agree.
so you're running this decent sized district now, a bunch of elementary, a couple of middle schools. You got budget negotiations, you got board meetings, you
Yeah.
probably have a few parent complaints, maybe you got teacher contracts, and you decided to do this side hustle.
Yeah,
Smack dab in the middle of the chaos of all things, you decide, you know what? I'm gonna write a children's book.
yeah. Yeah, again, life very nonlinear. A buddy of mine who actually owns a publishing company sent me a book that he was working on for somebody else, and he wanted to, Dr. Brad Mason says the book on the back is good for this reason. We never know who those people are that signed those endorsements. And as I started to read, I felt this incredible weight on my shoulders. I'm a granddaddy of seven. It was six at the time. And I started reading the book and realized that this book is going to go in the chubby knuckled hands of a little impressionable reader. And the book wasn't good enough. Wasn't clear enough on a point or on a moral or a takeaway. So I gave him tons of feedback. He wanted a sentence, and I gave him 3 pages. And he's like, "You got a nose for this. Do you want to be an editor?" Absolutely not. And then he's like, "What about you writing it?" And I'm like a superintendent. I got a job. Maybe someday when I retire. It was on a Friday. I was driving home. I'm a commuter in Southern California, and so a lot of time in the car. And little Charlie Chaluzzi was born in my head on that drive home, and he and I wrestled all weekend. And on Monday, I sent back kind of the initial manuscript for a book that's sitting right there. It just said challenge accepted, and I have fallen in love with it, and I've had the privilege of speaking with probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15,000 students, staff, and families, parents over the last 2.5 years. And they are great days when I can spend an entire day dealing with in assemblies with grade level kids, and just encouraging them that the stories that are in their head and the things that they have to say are worth sharing, and they've got a voice. And so just start writing.
Give us, just the essence of book 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
What the
Book,
principal taught in each
book
one, and
number one, Charlie Chaluzzi is often quite choosy. It's about a picky little boy that lives in a box of his own making. Um, Charlie always seemed to pick things he loved the most. For instance, all he ever ate was peanut butter toast, and it goes on. And then he starts observing the world around him. He starts contemplating the world, and he asks himself, I wonder if I try new things, if my likes would soon expand. And he realizes there's a whole world out there. And as he gains success and stepping out and trying things, he gains confidence, and he's off to
Mhm.
the races. Book number two, Charlie Chaluzzi Refuses to Snoozy, is about the same little guy, and he does not like taking naps and has it out with mom, but realizes that he does not have the ability to dream and these adventures that occur where he's kind of super Charlie while he takes these dreams in. And so he makes peace with nap time. And then the last one, Charlie Chaluzzi Goes on a Cruisy, is by far my favorite because I got to co-write it with my 6-year-old
Oh my
grandson.
goodness.
I wrote the words, and he researched because Charlie went to the Arctic, or he went to the bamboo forest, or went to the Alps or Australia. He researched with my wife all the important animals and the things. And I told him, if you want to be an author, you've got to seriously understand that a consumer, a reader, needs to see the best possible illustration. So he picked all the things to illustrate the book. And as I worked with the illustrator, that's all Dawson. So, and then, like I said, I got 7 grandbabies. So I am 1/7 of the way done now.
I was just
And
gonna say, how are
yeah,
you gonna
I
play
am
that out?
on this for a while. And number two oldest, Addison, she does not want to write about a little boy. She wants to write about a little girl. So she and I are in negotiations right now for a character that we're going to create, Sally Swirly Twisty Twirly, about a girl with a huge heart that wants to
Oh
help,
my goodness.
but she messes everything up. But in the end, it all kind of comes together because she's such a caring little human being. So be
I
on the lookout for Sally Swirly Twisty Twirly.
I cannot
Yeah,
wait. I
yeah,
cannot wait as a
super fun.
grandfather of 3 myself and probably more coming. I found this writing later in life as well, but my writing, kinda translated into writing guide books and, workbook workbook
Sure.
cover, and,
Yeah.
not quite policy, but it's sort of that
Yeah.
dry. So, why story, Brad? Why
Oh,
did you
there's
fall in
nothing
love
more
with
powerful than a well-told story. Whether it's a parable, whether it's a takeaway, the things that we remember from stories, the lessons, the things that trigger in our memory when we're in the midst of something, and whether it's about kindness or whether it's about truth, whether it's about I can do this, it's okay to get help. Just love people, forgive people. I just want to plant those seeds so deep in the heart and soul of kids that and I get the privilege to do that one book at a time. And so as I get closer to the end of my career, I'm going to be writing and telling stories and chatting with kids until I can't.
Yeah. Well, most soups that I know have a side hustle of golf or
Yeah.
maybe wine tasting.
Yeah, yeah, and good for them, and we'll sprinkle some of that stuff in, but this other stuff for me is too important when you spent time in an assembly with a kid and then they just you've connected because they just want to come up and they want to give you a hug. They don't even know what they want to say. You've just spoken to their little soul, and it's just that is a good day.
The essence of all of that. It just drives straight to that taproot of somebody who believes in
Mhm.
the humanness of the system. We all work within human systems, and we
Yeah,
all must be building cultures for our organizations and ensuring coherence, across the organization too. But if we miss out, sometimes we're so busy on culture and coherence that we just forget about the humanness.
sure.
Even the HR department of, you
Yeah,
know, we
sure.
forget about that. But I just see it oozing out of everything that you're influencing. Let's talk about just the relation based leadership that you've been at it for a few years there at Whittier.
Yeah,
You're bringing on a principal for a day program. Well, that's creating cohesion. It's
sure.
creating connection. You brought in various people to your system to build that connection. What's the impact of that?
Yeah, in my previous district we didn't have anything and we did a state of the schools, and I just thought, that's one way, it's one way communication where you're telling people what you want them to know. I want people to come and find out, and so they weren't doing the state of the schools in Whittier, and they weren't doing principal for a day. And I want to build disciples. I want to build people. I want to build ambassadors, bringing people in. They get a view from the inside so they feel part of the ownership of what's going on. And then if they tell 2 or 10 or 20 people, you're just kind of rippling the impact of what people view of what's going on in Whittier City School District. And I'm strategic in who we ask because
Yeah.
there are often we had somebody from the Huntington. I want our kids getting into, to museums and spaces that they wouldn't necessarily go into. And I've told my admin staff and anybody that'll listen, I believe kids are often bounded in their dreams of what they want to do and be by what their own experiences are. And so it's a box that is around them. And our job is to build bigger boxes or break the box completely. And so I want to bring people in that invite them for tours of their restaurant and go places and
Mm,
learn about what they're doing. And we brought somebody from Jet Propulsion Laboratory and talked about the moon rover that she's in charge of kind of directing and doing the research with. And it's just kids need to go home from school just going, wow, there's a
yeah.
big world out there and I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and, so much of the AI conversations today are not about creating access for students. It's not about creating insight,
Hmm.
right? And we've got some amazing people on our campuses that both have access and insight, but also across our communities. And all you're doing is just widening that door to say,
Yeah.
come on in. I want to hear a little bit about your backstory. Before we go any further, you wrote something in your opening message to Whittier that just it kind of stopped me cold as I read through it. But you said education was the difference maker for
Sure.
you. I grew up in a broken home.
Mhm.
You mentioned that as well. You had many opportunities growing up in a single parent home, living in San Bernardino. But so take me back. What was your childhood like, and what happened to make education kind of that difference maker for you?
Yeah. I was naturally a curious kid, but school just as it just is kind of laid out, didn't really scratch that itch. And so did enough to kind of get by and so forth. And ended up in middle school and in high school finding some teachers that whether it was the leadership component, whether it was a coach, whether it was a teacher that really just saw something in me that maybe I didn't see in myself. And it's easy if you have some level of ability to just kind of skate and just kind of get by. And it was really, you've got so much more potential, and they kind of helped launch me into the rest of my life. And it's really those people speaking that encouragement, that support, and that challenge into you to just aspire for higher, aspire for more. And yeah, I just they might made a difference in me. And I thought, when I went to college, I just thought, if I could spend my life doing what they did for me, I think that would be a well spent life.
Ugh, our stories definitely resonate, definitely. And you've mentioned this word called privilege. Within all of the noise in education, and especially out of the superintendent's office, they have openings, and you can hardly find a wet spot in the pools out there. It's just harder and harder to find people that want to do the work. But when you find somebody that is talking in terms of this is a privilege, being an educator is a privilege. Others would say it's more of a responsibility, and the work is really hard and heavy. But that mindset shift, that privilege, why privilege?
You get the opportunity to live up close and personal, and potentially change the trajectory of the life of a child. I mean,
Mm,
give me something better.
yeah. Ugh.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that mantra. I
Hard.
mean,
It's hard. It's not easy. I mean, I get it. Comes with challenges, and arguably more challenging now than ever before. But also, if not you, who? So get to work.
you actually believe it.
Yeah.
You actually, that's inspiring. It's either inspiring or exhausting for everyone who
Yes.
works with you.
Probably yes and yes.
Probably both.
Yeah.
Probably both.
Yeah.
And that's what it just attracted me to your story out there, and that's why this show exists, is to show the world, what real live people on purpose and deeply connected, what
Yeah.
they look like, because I think we're starting to lose what that image
Yeah.
was and actually still is today. So we're going to wrap up with a something. We already know that you're human, but we're going to do a bit of a lightning round here, and I
Okay.
like to do this with our guests. So don't overthink this, boss.
Okay.
Okay, don't overthink it.
Give it a whirl. I've never been accused of being, an
An
overthinker.
overthinker.
Just a
Okay,
simple dude, man. Just a simple dude.
how about a quote that you live by?
Um, I really love what a friend shared with me years ago, and it's I can't hear what you're saying because your actions are speaking so loudly. It's like there's got to be a cohesion. There's got to be an authenticity to you.
Love it. A book every educator should read.
The Giving Tree. Have spoken to it at multiple sites, and just kind of leadership keynotes and opportunity to share over the last year or so. Love Shel Silverstein, the author, and it's a sweet story of kind of a degradation of you over time as you care for somebody else, the little boy that turns into an old man. But I do it from the perspective of we're in a give environment, and so it's give of your fruit, not of your branches. Your branches are your health, your family, your marriage, or these things. You cannot sacrifice those things for the good of someone else. Fruit, when you give encouragement, friendship, forgiveness, mentoring. The moment you give that away, it replenishes, and you can give and give, and it will be unending. But some of those other things, too many people mistake that. Well, I'll get back to that. All whatever, and marriages are by the wayside, and relationships and health are by the wayside. So give of your fruit, not of your branches, the giving tree.
Best advice you've ever received.
Be prepared for your next opportunity before it arrives. Get the
Mm,
education, do the thing, get the master's, get the doctorate, take the training, do the studying, and you'll be ready for more opportunities than you even knew that were available.
you've mentioned this nonlinear thing to
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely plays well. One word to describe your leadership.
I think an equiper. The best thing I can do is find the best people and surround myself and populate the organization with people that see people first and the work second. And it's not an either or. It's the approach. And I need character people that care for others. And when my days are done superintending and I walk away, you don't ever want it to be Brad who, but it can be Brad when. That's when he was here. But we are healthy, we are good, and we are moving forward. I want nothing falling apart when I leave. I just want them to kind of continue to move forward. You do that by equipping the people you hire and then getting out of the way.
Folks, he's a multiplier. He is a multiplier. If you were not a superintendent,
Yeah, two things. One, the children's author, and it's kind of not the right answer because I'm doing both, but catcher for the Dodgers. They're still not returning my call every
they can't afford you.
spring during the
They
draft. I think
cannot
this
afford
may
you.
be the year, but I don't think they need me. Yeah, they're not calling.
Maybe when you could crouch behind the plate,
Yeah.
what would the 25-year-old teacher Brad think of you today?
Um, you're not going to end up doing what you thought you were, teaching and coaching, but hang on, it's going to be a beautiful ride.
Mm, 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 mm. Name an educator that you model yourself after, a
I
teacher.
love stories. I love parables. I love leaving people with things that just stick in their head that they can go back to. No better parable teller than Jesus. He was just a consummate teacher.
Amen. Amen. Belief that you held 20 years ago that's maybe just a tish off today.
Um, that you can save everybody. And that came to fruition my first day as a principal, as a middle school principal, Cope Middle School, shout out. And a teacher stood in the back of the room, arms folded, and he said, "Hey, we're about to get to that point in testing where every kid needs to be proficient or advanced. Do you really think that we can get there?" I thought, man, this is day one. I am on the spot. My answer was this, and this hasn't really changed. Um, I don't believe that every child is going to make proficient or advanced, but I don't know who's not going to make it. So we're not going to give up on anybody. And so it's just that commitment to just doing all we can. There are things that are outside of our control that are going to work out the way that they work out, but it's never going to be because we quit.
The influence that we have is more than we could
Yep.
even ask or imagine at
Yeah.
times. So, how about a favorite thing about Whittier that nobody really truly understands?
Um, Two things. One, if you go away hungry, it's your own fault because this is not a chain restaurant place. This is moms and dads and generational commitment to feeding people and feeding them well. So come to Whittier if you're hungry and you're going to be happy. And it's the second one is that it's not a small city, but it fights for that cohesion and being a small town feel. And people love this place and protect it, and they love their schools, and they just love living here. And it's been a privilege to join them in the final years of my career.
Fantastic. What a wonderful commercial for, visit Whittier.
There you
Visit
go.
Whittier. Last question, AI versus your most masterful teachers at Whittier. Who
Not
wins?
even close.
Who wins?
It's a pale comparison.
Are you kidding me?
AI is a tool. It can do some things. It can do some efficiencies, but it cannot change the trajectory of a child's life. It's a caring adult teacher. It's not even close. It's the relationship. If a kid feels loved, safe, and cared for in your environment, they will learn everything you have for them.
Agree. Agree. It's the right chemicals that we put into the system. Dr. Brad Mason and everybody, I just thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
my
Thank you.
pleasure.
Yeah, here's what I think Brad shows us that education, yes, it is a system, but it's not necessarily about systems. It's about students, right? And leadership isn't just about credentials, it's more about relationships. And if you want to inspire kids, right? That's different than motivating them. You don't just tell them to be creative. You actually model it. You step
Mm,
out there and go, "Look what I did in my latter years of
yeah.
life." So most superintendents, they manage districts, but I see that you're building community, sir. Any last words for our people before we split?
Yeah, if you've got a heart, you're a caring, compassionate person. Get into the educational industry, and if you were wondering whether educational leadership is a good place to kind of go, I've loved every minute of it, and I would encourage you to just consider expanding your ability to influence others by chasing after this. It's not easy, but boy, is it rewarding.
Mm. So rich. That's the show, folks. And you can learn more at, is it
Whittier
whittiercity.net?
City, yeah, whittiercity.net.
Go
Yeah,
Pioneers.
yeah.
Peace, friends.
All right. Take care.